Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Jai Opetaia looked his usual destructive self. He scored a 4-round win over David Naika. Looked great. It was a good old punch-up. I really like Opetaia. I rate him very, very highly. I think he is probably the best cruiserweight in the world, although Gilberto Ramirez has something to say about that. But afterwards, post-fight interview, he was talking unifications. He was talking wanting to unify the belts, become undisputed, which of course should really be every belt holder's ambition in a particular division. But then up pops Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn says, I want to see Opetaia in with Oleksandr Usyk. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago about how I'm sick of all these sort of stupid gimmick fights, where you sort of say, what are you talking about? What do you want to fight him for? What, haven't you got food left on the table in your own weight division? Or, so this isn't quite as bad as, Conor Benn and Eubank, the terminal tedium of it all. Or, Inoue versus Tank, or Crawford versus Canelo, all this sort of crap. I'm so sick of hearing about these stupid weight jumping, catch weight, nonsensical fights. I'm not interested in them. Nor am I interested in seeing Jai Opetaia jump up to heavyweight in the foreseeable future and take on Oleksandr Usyk. Jai Opetaia is a terrific fighter. All right, let him build his own legacy as a cruiserweight. Let him do what Evander Holyfield, Usyk himself, to a lesser extent, David Haye. David Haye was a unified champion. He was never undisputed. But let Opetaia carve out absolute dominance as the greatest cruiserweight of his generation. Can he beat the WBA and WBO champion Gilberto Ramirez? Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't rule Ramirez out. I think Ramirez is a good fighter. And it's anything but a foregone conclusion that Opetaia beats Ramirez. But if they were both firing on optimum, cylinders, yeah, Opetaia can beat Ramirez. Of course he can. The WBC champion is Badou Jack, who is, I think, in his 40s now. And another fighter I've got a lot of respect for. I like the way he's, he's a three-weight world champ, title holder. But he is not really... he beats, Aluna Makabu, who at the time was past his best. I actually predicted him to beat Makabu and won some money on that fight. Occasionally I'm right. And he's kind of inactive and, so I think I would definitely pick Opetaia to beat Badou Jack without question. I don't think Badou Jack and his handlers would go anywhere near Opetaia. So there's no doubt that Opetaia can become undisputed champion at cruiserweight. And if he can't, if he was to lose, say, to Gilberto Ramirez, what's he talking about fighting Usyk for? Where's that come into it? Now, I know Hearn is the promoter, and he's the one that's got to bang the drum and go for where the most money is and, make his clients the most amount of, financial reward. But there is such a thing as kind of not insulting the fans. The fight I want to see is Opetaia against Gilberto Ramirez. Why would anyone mention Usyk at this point? I mean, okay, if let's say Opetaia was undisputed. He's only ever held the IBF belt and the Ring Magazine belt, if you count that. But he's never held the WBA, WBO, or WBC belts. Let him mop up the gravy. Let him become undisputed, and then talk about a jump to heavyweight. And if Usyk's still around, okay, or if Usyk's retired and the belts have gone up in the air, he can still carve out his own name. He can still jump up to heavyweight and, collect the belts there if he's good enough. I actually think Jai Opetaia's too small to be heavyweight. I think he's good enough to beat certain heavyweights, but I'm not convinced he could. I'm not convinced he's got the variety or the natural talent of an Usyk. Usyk really is a spectacularly fine fighter. Opetaia's merely very, very good. And I think the two fights against Briedis were quite revealing. Briedis is another highly intelligent fighter and was past his best when he fought Jai. Although I'm not taking anything away from Jai Opetaia. I mean, to survive a double fracture in your jaw and to come back and beat Briedis, even if it was in Australia, was a hell of an achievement. And then he beat him when Briedis was on the verge of retirement. He's 39. He won another decision over him. Briedis was a very, very good fighter. And Opetaia's got 2 wins over him, albeit past his best. Briedis don't forget, Briedis gave Usyk some trouble. But that was a really sort of, prime Briedis, if you like. He did give Usyk a fair bit of trouble indeed. That was probably Usyk's closest fight. And it was in Riga, it was in Latvia, where Briedis is from. But I want to see Opetaia unify the cruisers. I'm not interested in, at the moment anyway, in him moving to heavyweight. Not just to fight Usyk, but moving to heavyweight. I don't care about him fighting at heavyweight at the moment. Hearn, I've talked some crap. I mean, I know he's got to bang the drum for his fighters, but it was his bloody idea, this Conor Ben Eubank nonsense. And yeah. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. What do you think about this? I actually had a couple of people, well, one person in particular, in the comments section of my review of Opetaia's win, saying, "Oh no, he beats Usyk. He'll go up there too far. He'll go up to heavyweight. He'll beat Usyk." I don't know whether the guy was trolling or whether he actually believes that, but it was a rather perplexing view to have. But let me know what you think. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you want to see Opetaia, because the cruiserweights don't have the depth that they did have when Usyk ruled them. Usyk very, very quickly unified an excellent cruiserweight division. And Opetaia, without taking anything away from him, he's got to build his own legacy. But against guys who have we got? He's IBF champ, so we've got people like Richard Riakporhe, Chevron Clark are still hanging around, Sislak, I don't know, who else have we got in there? I mean, Christ's sake, Firat Islam's still around. Was he like 55 now or something? I'm not even joking. Gulamarian's still around. Dorticus, I think, is highly ranked in the WBA. But you've still got people like Dorticus, like Makunu, even Makabu's still around. Chris Billum Smith's coming off of his first defeat to Ramirez. Masternak's still around. Glowacek is still around. Come on, nah. Unify the divisions and then think about heavyweight. But let me know what you think. Maybe you disagree with me. Comments below, of course. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And also, if you could hit the subscribe button. If you're new, takes you a second, costs you nothing. Hit the subscribe button. And thank you very much. I'm looking forward to reading your comments as always. Do you agree with me or not? Let me know. Bye for now.